it will create a problem, namely that the president and governors who were elected under a constitution which gives them the option of a second term are now being excluded. Now, I don't think that is fair. What I think should be done is to allow the president and the governors who were elected under the 1999 Constitution, which allows for 2 terms, to enjoy the new provision, namely that they should be given the option of going for 6 years rather than to say they are totally excluded. That is one of the problems. But having said that, I always say, look, we don't need to discuss a proposal as if it is already a bill. All these details will be discussed as soon as the Parliament takes this proposal. So still, what we are doing is, I think, a little premature because, it still remains a proposal and it just be proposed. This amendment will have to go to the states, all the states, who will have their own input into the amendment whenever if it goes to that. And if it is passed and it becomes a law, my suggestion would be that, it is unfair to exclude the incumbents, namely the president and the governors. They should be given the option of 6 years, which was, the law under which they contested in the first place. Now, some would suggest that, well, why not just wait till 2019 before you put this into effect? But I think that would be a bit awkward to pass a law now and start waiting for as long as that. So that is one of the problems I find with the new proposal.
Well, anyway, I think the risk there, as Chamberlain highlighted, is if we don't talk about it now, then it just might pass, and by then it will be too late. We'll be talking about another amendment. Perhaps let's look at the thinking of those who are who have mooted this particular section in the proposed amendment. They say that a single-year tenure recommended for the president and the governors, especially the incumbent President Jonathan, and 13 governors seeking re-election in 2015 will technically knock them out. Do you, for once, get into the thinking or the thought process of those who actually brought this up? What were they thinking to have said that 13 governors, the states listed already, and the incumbent, Mr. President, will not partake if this sails through?
Yeah, well, thank you.
You can go on.
Thank you. I think that there's something wrong in a law. There's a lot of things wrong in a law which is targeted at particular persons. That's what it would seem in this case. You don't make a law and then the target is some individual. The president should not come in, talk about a president, talk about governors, talk about the positions. See, and so the moment you begin to talk about the incumbent as if it is targeted at them, then there's something morally wrong. So that is one of the problems I find with this. You don't make a law and then you target it at particular individuals. That's what it seems. It appears to be that. So, but what I'm suggesting, as far as this is concerned, is that look, once this is passed before 2015, then let it also apply to the incumbents, namely the president and the governors. Let them extend their period by, let them do the 6 years which the new law is proposing. You don't totally exclude them. They're not enjoying the new law, and they are not even having the access, the provision of enjoying the old one. So that, I think, is morally wrong.
Do you, for once, Sir Marquette, do you for once see anything wrong with this single term we talked about? Because those who argue against it say, well, it will amount to non-performance from some of these elected officers. If you knew you were just going to stay in office for a term or a single term, that means that there won't be any kind of assessment to see how well you have performed to get the needed votes to come again, which is the norm of what people would say in democracy?
I think here there's something peculiar to our political system. I say it is peculiar because the system we run is the same as we borrowed it from the United States, and in that country it works smoothly. What I said, the reason for proposing the single term is simply that as soon as elections are over and a new administration comes in, the tendency is for the political system to again start preparing for another election. This is not done in the U.S. For some time, since Obama came in the second term, we have been, he has been working and everything has been fired. But you find that in the case of Nigeria, in fact, since last year, we've been talking about 2015. And that really takes so much time and it takes so much energy, and we're beginning to even invest so much resources. So it is a good idea, and I'm not really objecting to the reasons behind the proposal. But what I'm saying is that you must look carefully at the proposal such that you do not do harm to the interests of some particular individuals. The motivation matters. What is the reason for proposing that the incumbent president or governors are to be excluded? You must find a way out. I do not have the answer to that, but I think experts who know about this must find a way in which no moral damage is done to the interests of the incumbents.
Professor Sogolo, you know that this particular proposal is not original to the Senate. We remember very clearly that when President Jonathan assumed office, one of the first things he pushed for, I think in one of his first presidential media chats, was a single term. And even though afterwards he was criticized very strongly in many quarters, many people thought that he wanted to extend his first term, one of the things that was used to reassure people was that the president was not going to benefit from that if eventually it sailed through. Do you think now that we should be worried that this might actually sail through and the president and other incumbents, especially at the governorship level, will not be benefiting from it?
Now, I think that we should really concentrate on the reasons for the proposal. Let's forget about individuals. This is the point I'll be trying to make. Do not target individuals when you're making a law. Do not be overwhelmed by the interests of the president, the interests of governors. This is the reason we are doing this. Once motivation comes in, then of course the essence of the new proposal, seems to dissolve. So the whole idea, what I'm suggesting is that pass the law, try as much as possible to be objective about what you are doing, but forget about the individuals. But now the way it appears now, because there are jubilations in some quarters now that the president is excluded, the governors are excluded, they will no longer be qualified to this. But that's not the idea. That's not the of course, you will expect that this kind of criticism will be coming from the opposition mainly, and the opposition is excited about what is happening because they have already concluded that the President Jonathan is already excluded from running. But see, the reason they are wrong is that the whole thing remains a proposal. This is where I started my discussion. It is a proposal, and until it becomes a law, we must not invest our energy, resources debating this. This is what I've said at the beginning.
Wouldn't you say that the people of the presidency has a duty to possibly rejoice louder because it is their own proposal that seems to be seeing the light of day, not that of the opposition, because they originally came up with the idea, the president himself originally came up with the idea of proposing a single term for presidents and governors. So shouldn't they rejoice even louder in the face of what is happening in the camp of the opposition?
Yeah. There's nothing to There's nothing to suggest right now that the president